Welcome to our CBS 5 Investigates look at money and politics in Arizona. State lawmakers are elected to represent you, but we found something they're not telling you. Thousands of dollars in undisclosed gifts paid for by lobbyists, big business, and special interest groups. In September of last year, 9 Arizona state lawmakers, both Democrats and Republicans, flew to Salt Lake City for an all-expenses-paid trip. The tab picked up by a Utah company, trying for 3 years to persuade state leaders to buy its computer software for use in schools across Arizona, a potentially $36 million deal. You won't find much about that trip to Utah in the lawmakers' financial disclosure forms. Just one line with the name of the company. But our investigation found tens of thousands of dollars in undisclosed gifts, meals, drinks, even trips showered on our lawmakers, affecting their judgment every year. This is a list you will not see on any state government website or other public record. It has names and dollar amounts, the value of freebies lobbyists have given to our state representatives and senators. CBS 5 Investigates obtained the raw data from the state through a public records request. We spent more than 100 hours drilling it down to the 90 current state legislators, using accounting software to unravel the government codes that hide the expenses from untrained eyes. Not everyone was happy we did it.
Shame on you.
Shame on me.
Yeah, shame on you.
This is State Senator Don Shooter, number 1 on the list, accepting an average of $1,826 a year in food, drinks, travel, and entertainment from lobbyists. The most expensive gifts went to State Senators Steve Yarbrough and Nancy Bartow, 2 $2,400 trips to California in March of 2013, paid for by the Center for Arizona Policy. 10 months later, Yarbrough and Bartow sponsored SB 1062, the so-called Religious Freedom Bill, supported by the Center for Arizona Policy. Efforts to ban gift-giving at the Capitol have stalled year after year, including this year. House Speaker Andy Tobin is arguably the most powerful legislator who could push for it. Speaker Tobin, Morgan Lowe from CBS 5. How are you doing?
Great.
We wanted to talk to him about the gift ban.
I'd be happy to get to you. This is a bad.
Can we talk to you this week?
Of course.
Tobin is number 2 on the list, accepting freebies worth an average of $1,820 per year. That adds up to $14,500 since he's been in office. His office sent us a written statement saying Tobin supports increased gift transparency. What's your stance on a gift ban from lobbyists? We didn't get much further with number 1 on the list, Senator Don Shooter. You don't have anything to say about this. We're talking about the amount of money that you receive in terms of gifts.
Shame on you.
Shame on me.
Yeah, shame on you, Morgan.
Remember the lawmakers who took the free trip to Salt Lake City? All 9 of them signed on as sponsors of a bill that would have opened up the Arizona market to the company that paid for the trip. That bill failed, but deep inside the state budget, passed in the middle of the night, is language that appears to open the door for that company anyway. Free dinner and drinks sound like a great deal, but what does one of these lobbying events look like? We got a tip that a bunch of lawmakers and lobbyists were meeting at a swanky Phoenix steakhouse, so we showed up with our hidden cameras. We're hanging out at a bar in one of the Valley's finest steakhouses. Stiff drinks, expensive steaks, and movers and shakers. But tonight there are more of them here than normal. Our hidden cameras spot state lawmaker after state lawmaker, along with lobbyists and power brokers heading into a back room. A closed-door dinner with an open bar in a restaurant with $70 steaks.
By my count, there were at least 17 members of the legislature.
Robbie Sherwood was also in the bar that night, watching the lawmakers as part of his job with a watchdog group.
I don't know which special interest picked up the tab for those lawmakers, but it certainly wasn't the legislators themselves.
The event was sponsored by an organization called the American Legislative Exchange Council, or ALEC. It's a nonprofit that's come under fire for promoting controversial bills like Stand Your Ground and Arizona's SB 1070. It also pushes bills to privatize prisons, promote public spending on private schools, and reducing the influence of unions.
First of all, it's no different than any other organization.
Representative Debbie Lesko is ALEC's chairperson at the state capitol. She organized the Steakhouse event.
It's just a membership drive, and that's all it was, and it was a great event.
Well, what happened behind those closed doors? And there were closed doors.
If you'd say a restaurant is a closed door, then I guess so. We just got together, I stood up and I talked about what ALEC offers.
There were lobbyists there too.
Of course, there were lobbyists there, yes. There were lobbyists there. They were just, you know, they weren't trying to advocate for anything. This was a membership drive.
Lesko denied the lobbyists were there to work, but records obtained by CBS 5 Investigates show the opposite. 2 lobbyists reported to the state that they paid the bill on behalf of their clients, the pharmaceutical giants Merck and Eli Lilly.
How do you compete with that? Ultimately, what you have to have is some careful optimism.
Andrew Morrill is the president of the State Teachers Union, an organization with more members than ALEC, but arguably less influence. Is it a level playing field?
It is absolutely not a level playing field.
Steve Brittle represents environmental interests.
We don't have access.
There's nothing wrong with what we're doing. It's a great organization.
After the Steakhouse event, when the lawmakers and lobbyists lined up at the valet stand, one of them spotted our hidden camera.
Hey, put that away.
Representative Lesko sent us an email after that story originally aired, criticizing our handling of the investigation and our use of hidden cameras. It states in part, "I understand you want to sensationalize the news so that people watch it. But don't you want to at least portray yourself as somewhat unbiased? At some point, no one is going to believe anything the news says. So what do you think? We want to hear from you. Log on to Facebook and post your thoughts, or send a tweet to @MorganLowe, CBS 5. Up next, do all of those gifts and dinners add up to votes? We'll take the politics out of this debate and ask a behavioral scientist whether gift giving really does influence people. We showed you how lobbyists try to influence our state lawmakers, but do all those free drinks, dinners, and trips really have an effect on their votes? We posed that question to a behavioral scientist. Robert Cialdini wrote a New York Times bestseller called Influence. He's a professor emeritus of psychology and marketing at ASU and has a unique insight into the power of gift giving.
Gift giving is a way to influence people, and it has to do with a fundamental tendency, a principle of influence in all of us, the tendency to give back to others what we have received from them.
Just giving one little thing brings back a return?
For example, in restaurants, if a waiter puts a mint on the tray for each diner at the end of the meal, tips go up 3.3%. If the waiter puts 2 mints on the tray for each diner, tips go up 14.1%. That's how fundamental this rule is.
We talk to our state legislators, and the classic response that I get is, just because a lobbyist gives me a gift, pays for lunch, or pays for a trip even, doesn't mean that they're currying any favor with me. Is that accurate?
Excuse me if, as a behavioral scientist, I laugh. Elected and appointed officials may believe that that certain rules don't apply to them. They're not immune from the fundamental tendencies that work on all of us.
Is it possible to consciously block out those gifts when I'm decision making?
I suppose it's possible. I would say that it's exceedingly rare, because in all human cultures we are trained from childhood. You must not take without giving in return.
Coming up after the break, we're naming names, our top 5 list of legislators who have accepted the most gifts from lobbyists, and where you can go to look up your own lawmakers. We've spent the past 15 minutes exposing who influences our state lawmakers. Now our top 5 list. These are the state leaders who have accepted on average the highest dollar amount in gifts from lobbyists. Number 5 is Representative Tom Farisi, taking an average of $1,250 per year. Number 4, Representative Jeff Dial has taken an average of $1,448 a year. Number 3, Senator Kimberly Yeer at $1,544 per year. Number 2, House Speaker Andy Tobin with $1,820 a year. And number 1, State Senator Don Shooter, coming in at $1,826 in freebies on average each year. If you want to see how much your state lawmakers accepted, just go to our website, cbs5az.com. We've created a searchable database just for you. That's it for our special tonight. Don't forget to start smart tomorrow morning with CBS 5 Morning News. Good night.